Week 8 is here, and the Buffalo Bills are heading into enemy territory to take on the surging Carolina Panthers, looking to get back in rhythm and move to 5 wins on the season. Now, this matchup might not seem like a heavyweight bout at first glance, but trust me, there are plenty of storylines, chess matches, and challenges the Bills will have to navigate to come out of Charlotte with a win. Let's start with the basics. This is going to be the 9th time these two franchises face off, and history favors Buffalo. 6 wins to just 2 losses all time. But records are just numbers when you step on the field, and this Panthers team isn't the same squad we saw at the start of the year. After opening the season 0-2, Carolina turned things around in a big way, winning 4 of their last 5. They come in at 4-3, and more importantly, they come in with confidence. Their wins haven't been flukes either. They've taken down teams like the Dolphins and Cowboys, showing they can hang with some of the league's most talented rosters. And coaching? Dave Canales deserves some real credit. In only his 2nd year as head coach, he's managed to squeeze real growth out of a roster that's still trying to define itself. From a brutal 1-7 start in his debut season to winning 6 of his last 10 games, he's got this group believing. Before Carolina, Canales spent a long stretch in Seattle working with quarterbacks and receivers, and then last year, he was the OC in Tampa, helping Baker Mayfield have one of the best seasons of his career. Now he's shaping this Panthers team into a tough, physical, and smart football team. Now here's where it gets really interesting, the quarterback situation. It looks like it'll be Andy Dalton under center instead of the former number 1 pick Bryce Young. Bryce rolled up his ankle last week and is trending toward being ruled out with a high ankle sprain. Sure, there's still some mystery, a bit of gamesmanship maybe, but all signs point to the veteran Dalton stepping in. And while Bryce Young might be more athletic and has the higher ceiling, let's be real, Andy Dalton might actually be the tougher matchup for Buffalo right now. Dalton's not flashy, but he's one of the most experienced backups in the league. A true pro. Over 160 career starts. He's not going to beat himself. He's not going to panic under pressure. And with the way Buffalo's defense has looked lately, especially with all the injuries and struggles in coverage, a steady hand like Dalton's might be exactly what Carolina needs to stay on schedule and make this a 4-quarter fight. Now, let's take a closer look at the Panthers' offense and why the Bills can't afford to overlook this group. It all starts with their run game. Rico Dowdle has become the heartbeat of this offense in the last few weeks. An undrafted guy who's been bouncing around since 2020, finally finding his groove with Carolina after a breakout season in Dallas last year. The man is on a mission. Tough, physical, decisive. He's not just moving the chains, he's setting the tone. Paired with Chuba Hubbard, who's been a solid and productive back in his own right for years, this is a 1-2 punch that wears you down and keeps defenses honest. And right now, Dowdle is averaging 2 more yards per carry than Hubbard. That's the hot hand, and you can bet they'll ride it. Their receiver room? Young, talented, and growing fast. T-Mac, Teteroa McMillan, was a top 10 pick this year, and the dude is the real deal. Tall, physical, runs clean routes, and has that big catch radius that makes him a nightmare on contested balls. His game actually mirrors Drake London quite a bit, which Bills fans might remember all too well from the last game. Xavier Legette is another first-rounder, not quite as refined, but he's explosive with the ball in his hands. Then there's Jalen Coker, an undrafted gem who built strong chemistry with Bryce Young and is just coming back from injury. Add in veteran Hunter Renfrow, who might not be what he once was, but still has sticky hands and route savvy in the slot. And this group can give defenses problems in multiple ways. And that tight end room is sneakily dangerous. Tommy Tremble is the main guy, a tenacious blocker who brings attitude to the run game, but also offers something after the catch. Behind him, they've got athletic youngsters like Jatavian Sanders and Mitchell Evans, who both bring size and versatility to the passing game. It's not a flashy group, but it's diverse, and it can hurt you if you're not disciplined. Offensive line? This might be the most underrated strength of the Panthers roster. Despite using 6 different combinations over the last 7 games due to injuries, they've kept things stable up front. Ike Ekwonu at left tackle is starting to come into his own. Damian Lewis is a tone setter at guard. Cade May stepped in at center, and brought some nasty to the interior. And Taylor Moton at right tackle, quietly one of the most reliable linemen in football. They've built real depth here, and it's a group that's playing with confidence and cohesion. A huge credit to their offensive line coach. Now for the Bills' defense. This is where the game could be won or lost. The number one priority? Stop. Ugh. Run. No secret sauce here. All of Carolina's rushing metrics are near the top of the league, and Buffalo's run defense has been a glaring weakness. This is not the week to play conservative up front. The Bills need heavy fronts, extra bodies in the box, and a full commitment to taking away that ground game. Make Andy Dalton beat you with his arm. That's the formula. But even then, you can't let Dalton get comfortable. He's not going to run away from pressure. He's not going to extend plays with his legs. You need to make him feel every pass rush. And with Michael Hocht and Larry Ogunjobi now in the mix, this front four should look a lot more dangerous. There's more depth, more juice, and more creativity available now with the personnel. It's time to turn that into pressure. Blitz, stunt, twist, whatever it takes to collapse the pocket and make life miserable for Dalton. And beyond XS and OS, it's about energy. This Bills defense has been under the microscope all season long. The general manager called them out. The media's been circling. Fans are frustrated. It's time to play with urgency. Fly to the football. Set tone. Get physical. You've got reinforcements now. So show the league that this isn't the same unit we saw getting gashed earlier in the season. Now let's flip it and talk about what really could decide this game. The Carolina Panthers defense. Because while the offense has steadily improved and found its rhythm, this defensive unit has quietly become one of the tougher groups to crack, especially up front. And don't let last season's numbers fool you. This is not the same group that was giving up record-setting yardage. That team allowed over 3,000 rushing yards and finished as one of the worst scoring defenses in NFL history. But credit where it's due, they stuck with defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero, and the turnaround has been legit. Right now, the Panthers are giving up just over 21 points per game, a respectable number that places them inside the league's top 15. They're middle of the pack in most efficiency stats, but where they've improved most is against the run. 7th in the league in expected points allowed per rush. That's a massive leap from last season's disaster, and it's coming from personnel changes, better gap integrity, and a serious boost from a few standouts on the defensive line. Let's start with the monster in the middle, Derrick Brown. He's a problem, big, athletic, violent, and disruptive. If you're a Bills fan, you should already know his name. He's the kind of defensive tackle who ruins game plans. Constant double teams, relentless motor, and when he's not making the play himself, he's forcing bad ones. His presence alone changes what offenses can do inside. Lining up next to him is a Sean Robinson, another strong, physical run stuffer who may not get much media attention, but he owns his gap and knows how to control space. They've added depth and versatility with guys like Tershawn Wharton and Bobby Brown, both capable of rotating in and keeping that interior fresh and strong throughout the game. Where Carolina struggles is on the edge. They're banged up. Starters like Yetur Gross-Matos are out, and they're relying on a mix of veterans and rookies to generate pressure. DJ Wonnum is a solid, rotational-level player, but not someone who tilts the field. Nick Herbig and Prince Tega Wanogho are raw, mostly finesse rushers, and Boogie Basham, a name Bills fans will recognize, has been elevated from the practice squad to help. But the guy to watch is Nick Herbig. He's got the juice. He's still learning, still adjusting to the speed of the pro game. But he plays hard, plays smart, and he's got that bend and motor that you want off the edge. If the Bills aren't careful, Herbig could be the spark for a defense that's searching for a breakout pass rusher. And that's the big issue for Carolina right now. They're just not getting after quarterbacks. They have the lowest pressure rate in the entire league. Worst in the NFL when it comes to creating pressure over expectation. 26th in sack rate. That means Josh Allen should have time in the pocket. Time to go through his reads. Time to attack. But just because they're not blitzing a ton, around 25% of the time, pretty much league average, doesn't mean they're not scheming. Ejiro Evero loves disguising coverages, playing a lot of zone, and trying to confuse quarterbacks post-snap. Carolina plays zone on a league-high clip, around 80% of their defensive snaps. Man coverage? Almost non-existent. That's the one thing that's really fascinating about this matchup. Most defenses facing Buffalo have gone man-heavy to try to jam up those outside receivers and force contested throws. But the Panthers, by identity, want to sit back, read, react, and rally to the football. That gives Josh Allen an opportunity to dissect coverages and attack soft spots, if he's patient and on time. And this is where Buffalo's game plan has to be sharp, because the weaknesses are there. The Panthers' linebackers are beatable in space. Christian Rozeboom has been forced into a starting role, more of a depth player who's hanging in, but he's not a difference maker. Next to him is Trevin Wallace, a young, athletic prospect still learning how to play with control. This is not a linebacker duo that should scare any offense. They could be manipulated with motion, with play action, with layered routes over the middle. Their secondary has talent, no question. It starts with J.C. Horn, who might be one of the most physically gifted corners in the league. Long, fast, physical, great instincts, and he's playing with confidence. He had multiple interceptions last week and looks like he's finally shaking off the injuries that have plagued his early career. He's a shutdown guy when healthy. But opposite him is Mike Jackson, a solid vet, but not someone that can match up with elite route runners. In the slot, Chigoziem Smith-Wade is still raw and untested, and he's someone the Bills can absolutely go after. At safety, Trayvon Moehrig is the guy they paid big money to, coming over from Las Vegas, and he's a good player. He can cover, he's physical, and he brings leadership to the back end. But next to him is Nick Scott, another physical guy who plays hard downhill, but doesn't always hold up well in coverage. They've also started mixing in Lathan Ransom, a rookie from Ohio State who brings some juice and instincts, but he's still developing. So what does all this mean for Buffalo? First off, this has to be a Dalton Kincaid game. Carolina is dead last in the NFL when it comes to defending tight ends. When teams throw to tight ends against the Panthers, it's basically automatic. Over 90% completion rate. More than 250 yards and 4 touchdowns allowed on just 26 targets. That's ridiculous. The passer rating against them when targeting tight ends is near perfect. If there was ever a time to feature Kincaid, especially with Dawson Knox healthy again, it's now. The middle of the field is vulnerable. The matchups are favorable. This has to be part of the game plan from the opening drive. Second, the Bills have to work the slot. Khalil Shakir has become one of the most reliable targets on the team, and he's got a clear mismatch against Smith-Wade. Carolina ranks in the bottom third of the league in defending slot receivers. That's another area where Buffalo can lean into their strengths and keep the chains moving. Pre-snap motion, stack formations, rub routes, get Shakir free, and let him go to work. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. In what could become one of the most unexpected twists of the NFL offseason, sources close to the situation are whispering that All-Pro guard Zach Martin has reportedly signed with the Buffalo Bills. Yes, you read that right. The same Zach Martin who has been the heart and soul of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line for nearly a decade. While neither the Bills nor Martin's camp have made an official announcement, the rumor has exploded across league circles, leaving fans and analysts scrambling for answers. If true, the move represents a massive power shift in the AFC. Buffalo, long criticized for its lack of protection around quarterback Josh Allen, may have just landed one of the best interior linemen of his generation. Martin, 33, has been a model of consistency since being drafted by Dallas in 2014, earning multiple All-Pro selections and Pro Bowl appearances. His leadership, technique, and sheer physical dominance have made him one of the most respected players in the league and one of the least likely to switch uniforms. So why Buffalo? Speculation runs wild. Some insiders suggest that Martin grew frustrated with the Cowboys' front office after years of playoff heartbreak and wanted a real shot at a Super Bowl before the twilight of his career. Others claim that the Bills quietly made an irresistible pitch, both financially and emotionally, convincing Martin that he could be the missing piece in their championship puzzle. For the Bills, it's a statement. After seasons of coming close, but never quite breaking through, the addition of a player like Martin could stabilize their offensive line and transform their offense's identity. For Dallas, however, it's nothing short of a gut punch. Losing a player of Martin's stature would leave a gaping hole in their protection scheme and leadership core. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.